recently, we hosted a National Letter of Intent signing day. This is the first opportunity for student athletes to sign with a four-year university. On that day, we recognized 11 student athletes signing with major universities. We had 11. You can see Josh Fatu on the morning of changed and signed with USC. We had Arizona, Louisville, Tulsa, and a variety of different high-level four-year universities that student athletes signed with on that day. I think it's important to note that while that day was the first day of signing, we continue to get student athletes to sign, and we will see that throughout the year as there's other periods that different sports recognize. So since then, we've had our quarterback, unfortunately, who was a freshman, sign and will be moving on to Missouri. So our coach needs to recruit a new quarterback, but we celebrate those situations, and we know that that means good results for us in the recruiting process. What wasn't recognized there, and I do think is important to note, by sport, from the 14-15 year, we had 15 of 21 of our football sophomores transfer to a four-year college. That's 71%. We had 4 of 8, or 50% of women's basketball sophomores transfer to a four-year school. 8 of 9, 89% of our baseball sophomores transferred to a four-year university. 4 out of 5, 80% of last year's softball sophomores are playing at the next level. 8 out of 11, 88% of our men's water polo sophomores successfully transferred. And 2 out of 3, 67% of our women's water polo sophomores transferred. So by a program snapshot, you can see the level of success that they're having with that transfer process. The slide that you have here indicates some more recent academic success. From our current 15-16 academic year, we nominated a number of candidates, and we have been received back from the state. So our 3CAA Scholar Athlete Honor Roll nominees was selected and will be honored this year for women's water polo, and that's Ashley Diaz. For a student athlete to be nominated, they have to complete their second year of sport participation with above a 3.5 GPA. Ashley was a great candidate and obviously was selected. When we nominate for these types of awards, it's with every community college in the state and their athletic department. So a big honor for Ashley and our water polo program. Additionally, we nominated our men's swim and dive program, and they were also awarded the Scholar Team Award. So as difficult as it can be to get a student athlete to be honored, to be able to be a scholar team, you must have a team GPA above a 3.0. So our men's swim and dive program met that and then was actually selected for this year's Scholar Team Award for men's swim and dive. We have a variety of other academic all-state awards, but those two in particular are the most prestigious and very difficult to achieve, and we're very proud of those programs. So, academic summary, our student athletes are full-time students. They attempt more units, have a higher rate of units completed, degree completion, transfer level math, English completion, and university transfer. I could talk about the student athlete in photo here and share his story, but I thought it would be much more meaningful to invite Mr. Thomas to our meeting tonight and have him share with the board his experience as a former Long Beach City College student. So at this time, I'd like to bring up Inefre Thomas.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Inefre Thomas, and I am a proud product of the Long Beach school system, like many students at the school. I attended Wilson High School and became a member of the men's volleyball team at Long Beach City College after graduating, and to be honest with you, I did not want to go here. After years of anticipation and receiving acceptance letters, I was anxious to go straight to a university. Doing so, I would forfeit the chance of playing in college because at that time, I only had 2 years of playing experience, and I had a very, very long way to go. Wise counsel suggested that I enroll at Long Beach City College save money, and buy more time to develop. Being a student athlete here pushed me to my limits athletically, but more than anything academically. You learn a lot about yourself when you just had a grueling 3-hour practice and you have a statistics exam 30 minutes later. But you grin and bear through it because your coaches, teammates, and professors expect more from you, and you expect it from yourself. I looked forward to getting into the gym every day to compete, but I knew that was a privilege and it could be snatched away from me in a heartbeat if my grades weren't up to par. So, effective time management and discipline took on a whole new meaning. I literally lived in the student athlete success center whenever I had free time. And I would not have successfully transferred if I didn't have that support. The ideology of student first, athlete second was constantly emphasized, and that was the code that I lived by. When I started going on my athletic official visits to universities, everyone in the Athletic Success Center supported me the whole way, provided me with important documents promptly and a couple of tips here and there that would become useful while I was on the trip. But on a side note, more than anything, the academic guidance for choosing classes was completely priceless. After winning a state championship, I accepted a scholarship from a top Division I program and took my talents to the University of Hawaii at Manoa. I knew that attending a Division I university meant a lot was going to be demanded from me, but I was shocked at how much I was prepared for it. The growth and development that I received at Long Beach City College was phenomenal. When we trained here, it was as if we were preparing for the Olympics, and that was the only level of effort I knew. That goes to show you, the program wants to produce athletes capable of competing at a Division I level. And I must admit, the workouts at the university were drastically easier than they were here, and that is because excellence was always demanded. The only thing I wasn't prepared for were the 5.5-hour flights to the mainland every other week for away games and the distractions on the island. So I can say Long Beach City College did quite well. I decided to major in economics, though I was advised not to, because of the demanding nature of the subject and the probability that it will clash with my athletic schedule. To up the stakes, I took 18 units during the season and maxed out at 21 units to make sure I wasn't there for more than 2 years. People thought I was nuts, but with a combination of solid development, support, and discipline that I received at Long Beach City College, I was confident that I could take on anything. Without a doubt, sports opened many doors for me. The summer in between transferring to Hawaii, I was on the USA Beach Volleyball Junior National Training Team and had another opportunity to represent the USA in Japan for indoor volleyball in the Asian Pacific Cup, playing against Japan, China, and Thailand. Also, after graduating from Hawaii, I went on a brief professional tour and competed against professional teams in China. I now work in corporate finance, and I am preparing for graduate school. Looking back, I wouldn't have had it any other way. And I believe that Long Beach City College definitely creates a solid foundation for the students. Thank you.
He didn't add, he's a really great person too. I think you can see that with that smile. So moving forward to Long Beach City College and a history of excellence personified by athletes like Nefre Etam Thomas. As you can see, Long Beach City College has won 91 state championships, more than any other California community college to date. Long Beach City College has won hundreds of conference titles. Countless former LBCC student athletes have transferred to universities and gone on professional careers. Our own current coach that was referred to tonight, Chris Zoning, is working with the USA National water polo team. We're looking forward to their success and also getting Chris back after this summer. And with that, Long Beach City College has produced 31 Olympic athletes and/or coaches. So when we talk about, I have to bring it up, the Viking spirit and how strong it is, and the excellence here with the Long Beach City College, I think it's something that we can all be very proud of. To date, what do we have to celebrate this year? Long Beach City College is currently ranked 10th out of 113 schools. That is a ranking that is done solely based on playoff performance. So mid-year, we are currently 10th out of the 113 schools participating. We've seen conference titles and state tournament opportunities. So men's cross country placed 20th at the 3CA state championships. Women's cross country qualified and competed. Men's water polo, as announced earlier this year, were the state champions in the fall. Our football program, Southern California finalists, one game away from the state finals. Men's soccer won a conference championship and went to the first round of soccer playoffs. Again, conference championships, football, men's soccer, men's water polo, women's water polo. I'm happy to add that women's basketball can be added to that list. They clinched that on Friday night. I submitted this last week, so I didn't get to put that in there. But women's basketball can be added, and they are currently 4th ranked in the state moving into playoffs. So you can see that our athletic success is continuing. We're having a fantastic year this year, and we're looking forward for a great end with our spring sports programs. I forgot to note, and I can't do that because President Oakley reminded me. Another note before we talk about community outreach. Our current baseball coach met a milestone today. Last week, Coach Casey Crook tied the all-time career wins total with 513. Today at Irvine Valley with an 8-0 shutout, our baseball program got a victory for Coach Crook, and he now leads the all-time career wins with 514 wins. I text Coach and said, congratulations, and we're looking for many, many more wins out of him. So great job by Casey. I want to end with our athletics department definitely produces fine student athletes and academic results, as well as the athletic history shown. But annually, we participate in many community outreach projects. So you can see examples here. I routinely get emails from local schools where we coordinate, different projects on elementary school campuses, whether it be a fit-a-thon or a Halloween event, and/or some of the homeless shelter projects that our student athletes participate in. So we are obviously proud of the athletic history, the academic success that our student athletes achieve. But we're equally proud of their involvement with the community and fostering an idea of giving back. So with that, I want to thank the board for all your support, and go Vikings.
Questions from the board? Trustee Zio.
Thank you, Randy. I wanted to commend you for a very impressive athletic program at Long Beach Community College District. A question I had, I think it was on one of your slides with the statistics, and I believe it was about 1/3 of our athletes are women. And I just wanted to know if there's anything we should be doing to improve on parity.
It's a good question. I think one thing that I did announce early on, we did add women's beach volleyball. That is a direct result of the interests that we've seen over the last couple of years. It's also a response to the 3CAA that they have added beach volleyball officially as a sanctioned sport. So what we have is both the interest, the competition, and we've proven that we have the ability to support women's beach volleyball. So officially next spring, we have added intercollegiate athletics beach volleyball as a sport opportunity. that's one way that we are, responding to that demographic number difference that you see.
And do we anticipate increasing that by a certain percentage? Are we aiming at a goal to get more parity?
So, to get parity is a very big challenge in athletics. So what we respond to mostly is, again, where can we add opportunities? Where do we see viable interest and ability to add an opportunity? And when we find that, we pursue that avenue. And so annually, we look at the data and we try to explore off the interest from our application process to identify interest in sport opportunities. And then we pursue seeking out whether or not that's something that we can add.
Well, I want to commend you. I have to share with you a story. One of my colleagues is a success story. He was a football player here. I'm trying to recruit him to be an alumni spokesperson. He's a very big gentleman, all 5'3.5" of me. Next to him, it looks funny. But just it goes to show you, his nickname at Long Beach City College, the football team, was Smalls. So I have a feeling it's a very competitive and pretty intense gamesmanship. So thank you for all your hard work, and go Vikings.
Thank you. We'd be more than happy to have Smalls back on campus.
So, Trustee Baxter?
Yes, Randy, of course, I'm thrilled that you're back at Long Beach City College and doing an excellent job. I think this would be a great opportunity to mention to the public and the people sitting here that on May 12th, the Athletic Associates are having, he can't do this, but I can, are having their annual golf tournament, 30-second golf tournament, and so let's go after this gentleman at the Port of Long Beach, Sonny. I'll put you on that. And if the community wants to help support us, the person who's being honored is Ron Alice, who is the recipient of innumerable state championships in track, and a wonderful gentleman, and also a graduate of Long Beach City College, and in our regular Hall of Fame and in our Athletic Hall of Fame. So May 12th at Recreation Golf Course.
Thank you, Jenny. You didn't leave me anything to put out there, but yes, it's a great day, great event, a lot of fun, and it celebrates our student athletes and really works for the future success for them.
Trustee Archuleta?
Yes, I too want to commend you and the students, thank you, for the outstanding success, not only the athletic success, but also the academic success. So good job. And maybe there's something that we need to do for the general population to replicate what is being done with the student athletes so that we can have the same success with our general campus population. So congratulations.
Thank you. And, the student success measure, I think a lot of the things we see, for me anyways, having been involved in athletics for so long, really mirror a lot of the support that is provided. So I think we are doing it, and I think that it's great work.
Well, I think the eligibility to play the sport is, something that motivates and encourages the students to succeed. So maybe we need to find that motivator for our general campus population, but not to take away from the great work that you're doing and the students are doing. So congratulations again.
Great. Trustee Kellogg?
Well, Randy, obviously I'm never going to let an opportunity go by where I can't talk about what student athletes, how difficult it is, the gentleman there. I wanted to ask you what position you play because you're thick for a volleyball player. So I wasn't clear what position is he on the court.
Middle blocker, if you can believe that.
That makes sense. But the fact is, what a great program we have here at Long Beach City College. The challenges you have, as well as was mentioned with Title IX, and having a daughter who is involved in volleyball, it is great to see where women and men are involved. The biggest challenge, though, is obviously when you have a football team that you will have a high number of athletes, a baseball team with a high number. That really is difficult because you can't match up. And there's basketball, there's 5 women or there's 5 men on the court for your team. But in football, you have so many other players, which adds to it. But and the answer, which I started to chuckle, the other thing about trying to get the general student population, I would just remind everybody it's something called eligibility. You only get so many years to play college sports, and after that, they basically say, Many times they say, well, that's your scholarship, you're done. So it's challenging, but all athletes understand it. I had my experiences, but also I want to remind that we had a conversation earlier, and it is remarkable that we have the level of athletic success with some of the facilities we have. When you get into major colleges, and I'm a graduate of probably one of the biggest in the Division I with the University of Oregon, with the Nike Corporation, where they have better athletic facilities than professional sports. That is never something we're ever going to be. But at the same time, when you have Olympic coaches in your water polo, and that pool I don't think has changed by and large since when I was here. To put that in perspective, the person that Casey just passed, Joe Hicks, was coaching here when I was here. So a long time ago in a far-off galaxy. So out of this, highlighting the great success of our student athletes, what they do, we are going to be given an opportunity to continue to improve our facilities for the entire community. And I highlight the fact the water polo program, as well as all the other ones. It's a great opportunity. These students are all highly motivated. They do great work. It does improve your lives. And the biggest thing of all is that they don't end up going into professional sports. And if they do, it's a short timeline. Youth is not, age is not your friend in competitive sports. But what all these athletes do is they go into the professional world. And the experiences they learn from athletics, where they start here, they usually take for life. And I know I can say that I learned more really from my athletic adventures than anything else, and about how life is. Life's not fair, but you learn how to work through the tough times. And so that's why I love what this college does with our athletes. I love what the athletes do. And we continually expand it. I think it's wonderful that we're going into beach volleyball. I think we could do extremely well. Many people may or may not. Randy has been a very successful volleyball coach. A lot of championships before he became athletic director. And you're even coaching now, but you're coaching daughters, if I remember correctly. So God help you on that one. So, but it really is wonderful. I'm never could be more proud than our athletics program we have here, and I just hope that we can continually do the things to make it a program that will draw athletes in and help them achieve their goals. And it's never easy, but keep up the good work. It's very proud to be a Viking, especially when we win a lot, and that's what sports is about. There's no participation trophies at this level. You win or you don't, and so we've been winning a lot lately, and just keep it up. Great job.
Thank you. Tonight's agenda obviously had a major item in the bond measure, and you bring up facilities. I'd be a bit remiss not to touch on this. I identified the conference and who we compete against, and I also identified that currently we're 10th in the state. I didn't tell you that 2 other colleges in our conference are number 1 and number 2. That's Mount San Antonio College and Cerritos. So you talked about winning, and I would be remiss not to say both Mount San Antonio College and Cerritos have had significant facility upgrades over the last few years to their campuses, and specifically to their athletic facilities. A school not too far away that I was most recently at, El Camino, is in phase 2 of 3 phases of massive athletic upgrades. So certainly I think the timing of what we're doing and the work that you guys are doing is critical to continue that level of success, and I look forward to supporting the efforts.
Great,
Thank you.
Trustee Zia had another thought.
Yes, I just failed to thank our former student and our alumni who spoke tonight. It was wonderful. You were so great and such an inspiration. And I hope you stay involved. Make sure you get in touch with Trustee Baxter and the Alumni Foundation that we have. You can set a great example for our students that we currently have. So thank you for being here.
Great. And the only comment I would make is I think it was at a Century Club meeting a while ago that Dr. Philpott said to me when we were talking about student athletes and student success in general, that the first and best learning community at this institution and at almost any institution, is the athletic programs. They bond their high expectations and they move on because of the learning community that athletic teams form. So thank you for all your great work.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And we are moving on to the Board of Trustees portion of our agenda, and in particular 4.1, Student Success, Encouraging Completion After the 30-Unit Mark. Superintendent President Oakley, you want to tell us where we're going?
Yes, continuing the theme that we've set for the last couple of board meetings, we wanted to bring to you recent research that's been done to inform our strategic master plan, as well as give us a focus into our efforts to improve student success. And so today we want to talk to you about completion after the 30-unit mark, which is an important milestone in the success and completion of our students. So for the presentation, I'm going to ask Dr. Peterson to introduce our speakers.
So tonight we have asked our Dean of Counseling and Student Support Services, Noel Corral, our Department Head for Counseling, Larry Bluen, and our Director of Institutional Research, Lawrence Asenko, to speak to us about this brief and talk to us about the work we're doing to respond to what we're finding.
Thank you, Board President Otto, members of the board, and our executive team, and members of the community as well, for allowing us the opportunity to share some information and some of the things that we're doing to help address some of these critical pieces. So as we talk about student success and look at the critical stages of a student's pathway as they go through the college, come into the college, move through, and complete, we see some loss points where students are struggling. We've been working with institutional effectiveness to identify some of those loss points and how we can provide some opportunities to create momentum points to make sure that students are succeeding and moving through. So with that, we'll start off with Lawrence Asenko, our Director of Institutional Research, to show some data. And our Department Head of Counseling and faculty member, Lorraine Bluen, will help with some of the services that we have tailored specifically targeting these the 30-unit mark.
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Lawrence Asenko, and I'm the Director of Institutional Research. I'm excited to be here tonight because I get to continue a conversation that we started with the board last July. We got to dig in a little bit, continuing to talk about the students when we're looking at completion. I was telling you about the Student Success Scorecard last year, which is a statewide data reporting that's done through the Chancellor's Office. And we were talking about the students who started here at Long Beach City College in 2008-09. And one of the things that we were really proud about was that out of 10 students who start at Long Beach City College, and they've shown us through their course taking, their behaviors, that we think that they're here for some sort of completion, whether that's to get a degree, whether that's to transfer, or earn a certificate. We think that they want that because they've earned at least 6 units and they've attempted math or English. Out of those students, 3 out of 10 of them do persist here. They stay enrolled at Long Beach City College. But when we look at their completion rates, we see out of those 10 students, only 4 of them are actually reaching a completion within 6 years of starting at Long Beach City. And when we talked about this, I remember saying, it's really interesting because there's those 3 students in the middle. What's happening with them? Why are they not reaching that completion? So tonight we get to dig in a little bit and we get to compare these 2 groups. Try and see what might be unique about the students who are completing or what's unique about those who aren't, to see where we might be able to create some interventions or other ways that we can support the students who are not completing to achieve that. So when we look at these 2 groups, we see when we look at their course completion rate, we see that the non-completers, those who don't earn degrees or transfer, they have a slightly lower course completion rate. But actually, when you look at that compared to the entire college, it's actually still pretty robust at 72%. So we also looked at their GPA. We saw that they had a slightly lower GPA than those students who do earn a degree or transfer at 2.3 compared to a 2.8. But where we did see some pretty important differences was when we looked at the total number of transfer units completed on average among these two groups. We see for non-completers, they are earning about 17 transferable units. But for completers, on average, they're completing 33.9 transferable units. Pretty big difference. We also looked at their course success over time and saw an interesting finding. During the first 2 years, you'll see this is the same percentage from the last slide. The completers had an 85% course completion rate compared to the 72% for non-completers. But the difference in the course completion rate between the two groups grows when you look at the second to last term that students are here at Long Beach City College, and it grows even more so in their final term here. And what this slide says to me, what this finding says, is that these students are really struggling, particularly at the end of their tenure here at Long Beach City College, and there really is an opportunity for us to try and figure out how we can better support them at that critical moment. We looked at the differences between the two groups also in the types of courses that they're able to complete, and focusing only on the transfer level English and transfer level math, because we know that's where many students are in our basic skills programs and are working towards those transfer level courses. And we did see pretty big differences between these two groups. Those who completed were able to complete transfer level math and English at much higher rates than students in the non-completer groups. We also looked at how many students were enrolling and failing in these courses towards the end of their term. And a very interesting finding was 44% of non-completers fail math or English in their final or second to last terms. They're taking these courses until the very end of their experience, and they're still not successful at much higher rates than our completer group. We also looked at whether there were differences in full-time enrollment, and in fact, we did find that between these two groups. The differences were pretty stable across the students' experience, that our non-completers are enrolling part-time more often than our completers. And our students are probably doing that for very, very important reasons that may be outside of the scope of the college. But I think it's just very important for us to reflect on that and to understand that this non-completer group, they're more often are our part-time students. And it may not be for that entire group that we encourage them to enroll full-time, because we certainly don't want to do that for students where it may be a detriment. But for students who are on the cusp, who may be able to have that flexibility in their schedule, it may be something that we want to reflect on and encourage.